The desert night pressed down on the patrol like a physical weight. Silence so complete it felt wrong in a place where one never truly slept. Specialist Daniel Rourke walked point position, his night vision goggles casting the landscape in sickly green as he led his six-man squad through the valley. Every grain of sand seemed to whisper warnings his rational mind couldn't quite process, that instinct soldiers develop after too many close calls. The metallic taste of fear coated his tongue, though he couldn't identify its source. No movement in the shadows, no distant engine sounds, just absence where there should be presence. Behind him, Staff Sergeant Monroe and the others moved with quiet confidence, trusting Rourke's senses the way soldiers trust the man who keeps them alive. Then he saw it, a shape too deliberate, too smooth against the chaos of natural terrain, half buried just beyond the ridge they were approaching. Rourke raised his fist and the squad froze instantly, 6 men becoming statues in the span of a heartbeat. He stepped forward alone, every muscle tensed, and that's when the moonlight caught it, a hair-thin wire leading to a pressure plate, a device engineered with terrifying sophistication. This wasn't some crude roadside bomb, this was a sensor-triggered trap designed to wait for maximum casualties, silent because it needed no timer, no remote trigger. The realization hit him like ice water. They were already inside its kill radius, and any step backward might be the one that activated it. He turned to signal Monroe to warn them, but before his hand could complete the gesture he felt it, that impossible tremor through the sand that comes 1 second before detonation. Years of combat compressed into pure instinct as Rourke understood with absolute clarity. The bomb was triggering, the blast was coming, and there was no time to run. He launched himself at Monroe, the closest man to the device, driving his body into the sergeant and forcing him down into the sand as the world behind them turned white. The explosion was directional, engineered to fire forward like a claymore, and Rourke felt the heat and shrapnel tear into his back as he became a human shield. The blast wave picked him up and slammed him down, sand turning to molten glass against his skin, his body armor absorbing impacts that would have killed Monroe instantly. When the ringing in his ears subsided enough to hear, Rourke realized he was still breathing, though each breath felt like inhaling fire. Hands grabbed him, his squad pulling him from the crater's edge, their faces masks of shock and determination as they worked to stabilize him. The bomb had been perfectly positioned to kill everyone if they'd taken 3 more steps, but Rourke's instincts had bought them seconds, and his body had bought Monroe his life. The medic's hands moved across his back, assessing damage Rourke couldn't feel through the adrenaline, while Monroe knelt beside him repeating, you saved me like a prayer. Through the haze of shock, Rourke focused on counting. All 6 voices accounted for, all 6 men alive because he'd felt the explosion coming and chose to be the barrier between his brothers and death. The medevac helicopter's rotors announced salvation before its lights appeared over the ridge, and as they loaded Rourke onto the stretcher, the squad gathered around him in silence. These were hardened combat veterans who'd seen friends die in a dozen different ways, but the knowledge that they were standing there only because one man had thrown himself onto death's doorstep left them wordless. Rourke's vision faded in and out as they lifted him into the helicopter, the pain finally breaking through the shock, but through it all he held Monroe's gaze. No medals or commendations could capture what had passed between them in that fraction of a second. The moment when Rourke had chosen without choosing, acted without thinking, become a shield because that's what soldiers do for their brothers. As the helicopter climbed and the desert fell away beneath them, Rourke finally let go, surrendering to unconsciousness with a certain knowledge that his squad would make it home, and sometimes that certainty is the only medal a soldier needs.